Well, it's 2020. We're moving into a new year, and lots of things are happening and changing quickly. One thing I wanted to cover is that I've been saying publicly at the monthly meetings that the operations of the program have been getting bad legal advice. In November, I called for the assistant director to be removed. Now we come to December. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. So let's look at some of the facts. The law requires the state to assist recyclers in convenience zones and ensure convenience. So on the 26th of December, a recycler in Tujunga, an area that was only being 50% covered by convenience, was told that she had 3 days to close down. Now, in the original program, if they were going to close somebody down, they had to hold a hearing within 20 days. And then after the judgment, if the judgment was to remove them from the program, fine. But the department couldn't just remove people willy-nilly on their own without due process. So they did that to a nice lady and basically said that for a 3-month period that they looked at, everything that she purchased was false and fabricated. And therefore, she's not a high volume operation, probably pays out approximately $40,000 a month into the local community as reimbursement. That's not that big. A lot of them are a lot bigger, but they went after her and said that that was all falsified and fraudulent. They don't know what fraud is. So let's look at some of the facts. Perfect example. We've talked about the volume. It isn't all that big. It's consistent. They can look at this. The recycling center has been there for many years. This lady's been operating it approximately 4 years. She bought it from somebody else who had been there. This has been a pillar in the community, and they just go in and wipe it out. Now, they did it on a 3-day notice, the day after Christmas. They gave her a letter and said she had to be closed by the 31st. Now, businesses need to be respected in this state, and these businesses have legal agreements, contracts, leases, insurance policies, workman's comp policy. She's now thrown into a cement mixer where she's tossed around, thrown around, had all of her cash flow cut off. And what did they do? They say, okay, we'll have a hearing, but we got to schedule it, maybe in 2 months, maybe a little more. There's people on vacation. People have other things to do. To hell with your business. That's what we're dealing with in this state and in this program. They don't care. All right? Gladstone. He said, justice delayed is justice denied. And in this case, it's a cash flow choking till you can't breathe anymore. All right. That's the right to a speedy hearing, a speedy trial. We don't have that. They can legally, under this system, hide beneficial evidence. And that's why this has to be addressed comprehensively across the state. There are other places that this can happen to other businesses. They think they can legally withhold any money, and they do. They can financially devastate a recycler even before they get to the hearing, and then may have no chance of recovery. Okay. What else? The recycler is probably going to get a hearing with the attorney I recommend, John Gugliotta, Newport Beach, but there's nothing we can do to speed it up. We're asking the legislators in that area to request that the recycler be allowed to reopen until after the hearing. And at that point in time, we'll see what they did, okay? And I know it's going to be ugly. Now, we also just received a Superior Court decision, County of San Bernardino. A judge found against CalRecycle. CalRecycle had withheld the handling fee subsidies to a recycler in a large rural area, the only recycler in a very large area. And without that subsidy, the recycler had no interest to continue and closed down. But it was a large chunk of change and worth recovery. So again, they bring in John Gugliotta. He takes it before Superior Court, and the judge finds that CalRecycle has denied due process. One person made the arbitrary decision to deny handling fee payments, and then it was appealed by the recycler, and he made the decision. He substantiated, he held up his own decision. No separation of power. Let me tell you, when we get into the legal aspects of the constitutional aspects of this business, this gets real butt ugly. Okay, so Judge spanks them, says you can't do that, and so we're now going to have a proper hearing, or maybe if the department were doing its job, it would just drop this and pay the money. One of the former owners is quite sick, and I know they could use the money for medical expenses. Okay. In another situation, recycler had tens of thousands of dollars withheld in handling fees, a little over $70,000. Forced him out of business, forced him into bankruptcy. He finally questioned it when he kept noticing that if he went into their computer system, Doris, that it still said this subsidy payment in excess of $70,000 was still pending. We got John Gugliotta on this, turned it over to him, a few phone calls with the right questions, the right comments, and the $70,000 check has now been paid. Now, what does this substantiate? That somebody in this department is really given bad legal advice when every time we turn around, we can find flaws with what they did. And that's what I've been focused on, and I continue to say we need to replace the assistant director. Then we need to clean house and retrain people to do their job. This program was designed to move and recycle large volumes of material, and this is not what this department has done. We need things brought back, like the commingled rates, which the department snuck out in a budget bill. Now, my point is, if I can read the law and understand the law better than the attorneys within the department, do we need them? I think it's time for them to be replaced. I think it's time for the assistant director to go. We need people who are willing to assist our hardworking business people and their staff in doing their job and not make up reasons to get rid of them. I have said for a long time, Replanet, which they hid the fact that Replanet was a very high cost operation, and the Berkeley report threw that in their face. Said don't support high cost operations, but these are not high cost. These are viable. This has been serving the community for a lot of years. Put this recycler back in business. The senator, if you want to call, Portantino, Glendale, Rivas, in Arleta, the assembly member, get a hold of them, give us your support. Say, put our recycling businesses back in business and support them and help them. Don't put them out of business. That's why our recycling is going down. I want to make one point here real clear too. Everybody who's pushing a narrative, Californians Against Waste, CAW, California Watchdog, has said that we have a problem because our recycling rates dropped from 85% to 75%. Understand, they dropped because they finally started to get a hold on the fraud, the out-of-state material coming into California. That's why it went down. Don't think the sky's falling. We were recycling Arizona, Nevada, and everybody else's containers and paying for it, okay? California's paying for everybody else's recycling. Think about it, and let's change things. Call your legislator, say you want to fix. Watch these videos. I'll keep you posted. Thank you.